Hello again. This is still October 11th, 2021. This is Waterman, audio recording number 337, spiritual toolbox number 21. This is examination table number 2. And I'm video number 2 on First Corinthians chapter 13. And I'm in verse 1, okay? Okay, let me start out I'll read it again in the King James Version, the King James translation of the Bible, okay? Verse 1 says, "Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal." Okay? Now, we covered tongues last time. Now, get it up here. Let's go down here to take the word that they translate as in this verse, of men. Okay? That word is from the Strong's number 444, okay? And it's spelled Anthropos. I've made references to this already, okay? Anthropos, okay? Let's see how it says it.
Strong's G 444, Anthropos.
Okay. It means, man-faced or a human being. It's the way a human being thinks. It's that old nasty righteousness, your own righteousness in your own mind. It's yuck thinking. It's not permitted to go through the eye of the needle, not permitted to go back into God. It can't come out. It is that daggone diarrhea thinking. Ooh, yuck. All right? Puke, vomit, yuck, ooh, bullshit. Dung. I count it all as dung for winning Christ. In Philippians 3:8, Apostle Paul says it. I count it all as dung for winning Christ. Okay, it's that dung thinking. Okay, ooh, it's that stuff of two in your earth. One will be taken, one left. The one taken's that old alpha dog, that old anthropos thinking, that old yuck thinking. Many ways to describe it. It's your own beast nature, your own Adamic nature, that old serpent nature, that tree of the knowledge of good and bad, good and evil. It's not from the tree of life, partaking of or eating of the right-mindedness of God. That love that's beyond words. That child that was an incomplete love that God put within us as pistis. He gave everybody a portion of his pistis, of faith. Okay, like that seed. And he's grow that back into the fullness of truth in God. Okay? To his right mind. So that you can understand and be able to operate in different areas of your thinking processes in like manner to the way God thinks, the way God loves us. Beyond words, this agape love that's not yet completed. He's bringing you back so you can complete it at different levels, okay? To Rachaman. Okay? Okay? Not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. I've already been talking about this. I'll keep talking. Okay? Okay, now, so that anthropos, the tongues of men, that language of your old Adamic self. That old thing is in there. It's just a slanderous, a thief, a robber. Yuck! It comes for nothing but to kill, to steal, and to destroy. As in John 10:10 it says that. Okay? Yuck! Like in Isaiah 9, verse 30, verses 19 through 22. It's like talking about this junk. Ooh, yuck, get it away. Basically, another way to put that word, get out. It's like for the word translated as Yahweh, okay, the self-existing one, the supreme divinity, God, okay, 30:68 in the Old Testament. I think it's Old Testament. That the etymology of that that's a masculine noun, and the etymology of that comes from the verb 1961, which is like hiya. God's karate chopping that stuff out, and then as it does that, then he's burning that garbage thinking up, and then he's refining the other, bringing it right back into the right mindedness of God, rebirthing you. Must be born again, rebirthing you back into his right mindedness. Bringing you back. You're returning in your mind to God's right-mindedness. From all of that anthropos thinking, all of that big old alpha dog that just like tries to be your God. No. God putting his foot right on that old king's neck as you agree with him in hot pursuit. Right? Causing it, that old alpha dog, that thinking process in that one little ball, that one little area of your thinking process or one little thought. As you're agreeing, let's cut it out, Daddy. Let's get it out. Let's bust this stuff up. Get it, no matter what. Right? He's putting his foot, his lifestyle, his existence, God's existence. God's bringing you out of it because you can't bring yourself out of it. It's not by your might nor your power. It's not by your works. Or you'll boast in your own self. Man, I'm a big bad Billy, right? No, it's by my spirit. It's by God's works, God's efforts, God's mighty hand of deliverance. Your hand speaks of your works and your efforts. Okay? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. All that thought process is in your mind. And lean not upon your own understanding. This anthropos thinking, the way you think. Ew, yuck. Hockey poo. Vomit that crap out of your mouth, man. You don't want that hog slop in your mouth. Okay? And come back to him. Return to him. Don't just swallow it like an old hog with an unclean animal, one belly. That was good stuff. You're calling some stuff that's not of God. It's good or bad. You're making up your own mind. You're partaking of that tree of the knowledge of good and bad. No. Clean animal regurgitates that. It has two stomachs. Swallows it, regurgitates it up, and digests it again. Digest. Twice. It's habitually practicing it. So, not just repeating it out here in your mouth. You're functioning, operating in it. Boom! You're going through it, so it's going like from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. You're falling back into love with God and that ability to love him as he first loved us. Turn that child that God has for us and then come back to love him in like kind at whatever level that you're permitted to. Right? As you're in hot pursuit of him in this eyes of these storms of life and viewing it as this is not to me. This is how you doing this, God. Correct my mind. Not me correct your mind. Oh, please take this stuff away. And I can't stand it no more. Believe me, he'll push you. God won't put more on you than you can handle. It's just more than your natural carnal thinking wants to handle. It's got to burn it up. It's got to consume that old garbage thinking of that carnal mind and refine out those impure metals and bring it back to the golden nature of God. So that it's like you won't be double-minded. So you'll be a heavier and heavier and heavier element, heading back like on periodic table 2, lead, which is like the most stable element. And it's not tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. Good, bad, by your own carnal mind, your own stinking thinking in there. Not the circumstances out here. No. You're in the world, in this stuff, and then working on this orderly arrangement in the mind of humanity. God's put you in there. He subjected you to this vanity, this hopelessness, not willingly, but in hope. So he can show you. See there, my child, I'm the great hero. I love you more than anything. As you experience this, it becomes all this different phases. It becomes more and more and more alive to you. And you come back into this Zoe life, this fullness of life in me and in union with me. And I'll hold you tight like a weld that can't be broken. Because I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, right? It's God is doing that. You believe that old carnal minded stuff, you're not going to increase. You know, it says some sow and some water, but God gives the increase. God has to give you the increase. You have to turn to Him. Okay? As a waterman, I'm saturating you with water, with the thought processes of God, saturating your ground, your mind, your earthly thinking, so that you can, and helping you get over some limbs, some stuff, opening up some stuff. Open up like a can of whip bud on this old carnal mind. That old bitch. Shut up, you old dog. Okay? And then, as you go over that limb and stuff, I'm blowing you back into this spring-fed water. Spring-fed, oxygenated, nutrient-rich, where God's doing the work. And it's between you and Him. Between each person and Him. And then God gives the increase. Okay? Because I plant, some sowed of seeds and some water, and I'm saturating it with the thought processes of God. Okay? Now, so this anthropos thinking is that ooh yuck thinking. your own humanistic thinking, okay? Let's go on down here. Touch a little bit on a few of these words. Okay. Where it says of angels. Okay, it's from Strong's number 32. It's spelled Angelos. It's this word.
Strong's G32. Angelos.
Angelos. Okay. Masculine noun. It's derived from 71, the Strong's number 71, AGO. Okay. Let's see, hang on a minute. Look at this, make sure I'm... Yeah, from AGO and the number 34, AGELE, meaning bringing tidings, okay? Now, what this number 32, angelos, means in the Strong's, it's a messenger or a pastor, okay? Not some naked little fat baby with wings. No. The Thayers, it's a messenger of God. Okay? In the online biblical usage, it's a messenger or one sent, a messenger from God. It sits in your mind, this stuff in your mind. God's bringing it in whatever form He wants to bring it. If it's through a daggone storm in your life, the daggone crack you like over the head, so to speak, to make you, hey man, listen up. Or like on that old Pharaoh, whenever he said, I'll soften his heart and I'll let my people go. And then I'll harden his heart and He'll come after you. For so that God can show His glory. Have all this stuff, parting the Red Sea and all this stuff. It's a show, it's a depiction to show you He's doing that same thing inside you right now. Okay? All right. Now, see, God's doing it. He'll raise the temperature to boil out those impurities within you so you can skim off that stuff. He asks you want this stuff skimmed off, or shall I try to chop this old humanistic thinking, this anthropos thinking, this old yuck dross that come up out of you that you didn't even know about? That old carnal mind was telling you, you're a good guy. I showed you. This is some of that stuff that I've subjected you to, not willingly, but in hope. I'm bringing it out. So now here it is. What are you going to do? Don't let it condemn you. Stay in that crap. Cool back down and get hardened down in there, that rubbery crap thinking again. You can't get it out yourself. No, yes, that is. Crouch up this board. Let's skim off that dross. I don't want it. Man, that stuff's nasty. Right? Okay. That's messengers, however God chooses to bring this stuff into your mind. What, through circumstances? Whatever. Whichever way. Okay? It has me speaking to you. Channeling something to you. And then you can't receive it. Can't hear it for a while. And all of a sudden you're in a daggone calamity in your life. And then all of a sudden, bam, in comes this thought. You know, he said something about that. And then you start pondering it, thinking about it. And, maybe that's the way out. And you kind of start doing a 180-degree about face, turning in the way you think. I'll try it out. And then next thing you know, you're like tasting to see that the Lord is good. And God brings you out. And you start realizing, man, this God is the Alpha and Omega. He's great. This is great. I can do it through Him. I can do all things through Christ, through this anointing of God, agreeing right back into God. Yahweh is salvation. He's not a monster. Not me. I'm just watering, saturating you, making it, doing what God wants me to do. Okay? Others sow the seed, and it talks about that, I think, in Luke 8, about scattering the seed, Okay? Now, let's go on down here. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and had not charity. Well, charity, it's not really what it's saying. You know that, right? This is the love chapter, right? It's from the Strong's number 26, and it's agape. Agape. I'll have it pronounced for you.
Strong's G26, agape.
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 Okay. And that's just the love that goes beyond words, goes beyond unshakable love, unconditional love, perfect love. It's a word that you can't compound enough adjectives to adequately describe this, the love that God has. This kind of love, agape. Justly. You can't do it justice. Okay? All right? This is the love like God had before. It's that chav, that incomplete love that He poured out within us. And then we're coming back to the ability to love Him in like kind at different levels. Every person, every man, every person in their own order. There's a myriad of different orders, different levels, and then in different thought processes. Like a percentage of each one of those little thought processes, those areas in your mind, out of a whole myriad, a whole innumerable number of areas. That's in one person, and then that's individually, and then it's out of all humanity. It's pause. And He poured out this Spirit without measure upon His sons. Don't you know that we're all children of the Most High God? Some don't even know it. They're still down in there, and it's ungerminated, unregenerated seed. Just like in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. When we die in this earth, this dust, and this dust thinking returns to the earth from where it came, and the spirit, wherever that's at, and that pistis has grown up to whatever level, back into the love of God, that returns to the Father who gave it. Okay? Then you read Ecclesiastes 6:6 and 3:22. It's basically saying around the same thing. We don't all go to one place. Okay? I'm just trying to stay focused here, okay? As much as I can, okay? Now, that's agape. They translate it charity. Well, it's kind of not really right. Okay? And not here. That had not this love, okay? And that not is from 3361, and it's spelled M-E, okay? And it is pronounced
Strong's G 3361. May.
it's spelled M-E, but it's pronounced like M-A-Y. May. Okay, and it's a qualified negation. So in the eyes of these tornadoes, these hurricanes, these storms of your life, in that eye of the hurricane, where you got to make up your mind to agree or disagree with God. And by not doing nothing, trying to remain neutral, you're disagreeing with God. Nothing but going full bore, hot pursuit. Okay? Into God, all the rest of it is not going to God. It's disagreeing. You're falling away from God. Okay? Partaking of that wrong fruit. But when you're going in full bore, bam, 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 you're falling in love with God or you're falling in love with yourself. Right? That's the decision, okay? And this is in each and every thought process, okay? Now that have not, this agape, okay? This not is that may, M-E, okay? It's a particle. It's a qualified negation. See, so whichever way you qualify, if you disagree with God's right-mindedness, to stay to your own stuff, no matter how much you believe in that stuff, no matter how much you say, that's a good thing, God, you ought to see it my way. I put a lot of time, talent, and man, this way everybody else ever done it, and it's just it. You ought to correct the way you're thinking, God. You're wrong. Holy crap. What the heck are you doing? Don't worry. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. That's an acquittal. Okay. Okay. Disqualified negation. You're either qualifying by disagreeing with God to fall away from God, or qualifying to go back into the right-mindedness of God. So if you're disagreeing or trying to do anything but going in hot pursuit of God, following God with everything you got, no holds barred in your mind, in your thinking process, doing the best you can, holding on with all your might, and letting God pull you out, knowing it's not me, myself, and I doing it, it's God. Okay, God is your salvation. Okay, God is your deliverance from this thing. All the rest of that stuff is qualifying you for a negation. But you can't go through that eye of the needle, coming out of this poop thinking, your own anthropos thinking, your own yuck, your own garbage thinking, right back into going through all this like eye of the needle and back in and in union with God's right-mindedness, where He's welding you, holding you like in the eye of the nucleus, or like in the land of Goshen, in the midst of that, in the middle of that land of Egypt, which that land of Egypt is like that darkness, ignorance, that yuck, fleshly thinking. Okay? Now, I wrote some stuff here. This is like disagreeing with God in the eye of the storms of life. This is not to love this is qualifying you by disagreeing with God. This is saying, this is God saying, this is not the love that's beyond words, beyond the description of mere words. This is not agape. This is not like God. You're not in hot pursuit of God. No matter if you're calling it good or bad or your ego, whatever. It's trying to edge God out. It's enmity with God. Cannot possibly please God. Okay, read that whole part of Romans 8, man. It kind of describes it. It describes it. Okay? This thought process, and then this individual, and anyone. Okay? This one is qualifying in this sense for not being able to go through this eye of the needle back into the right, from out of this stinking thinking, out of this sewer system, out of this yuck diarrhea thinking, back into the right mindedness of God. Okay? And short. Right back in there. And in union with it, it can't. Okay? It says, it cannot pass from one's fleshly thinking and proceed towards, to, into, in, and in union with, the S-Y-N, with God's righteousness, that love beyond words. You're not going to love the way God does. You're not even going to increase in your ability to love that way by doing it out of your own might, your own power, your own works, lest you boast in your own self. Nah, you don't deliver nobody. You don't save no one. You can't even save yourself. God is saving you. You grab on for dear life. Oh, thank you, Father, and you recognize, oh, Lord, you are my salvation. Yes, sir, amen. Let's chop this stuff out. Let's get it. All right? Now, all right, cover that a little bit. All right, let's see. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not love, charity, I'm become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Okay? Now, I am become. Hang on just a minute. I am become is from this word 1096, Ginomai. And I don't have an Englishman's concordance here, but in that it shows you everywhere in the whole Bible where that's a Koine Greek word, so that'd be the New Testament only. And it shows you everywhere that that's translated. Well, that word's translated over 250 different ways. In the King James Bible. Wrong. Some of the ways don't even make sense. Ludicrous. Okay? Let me show you what this is. This 1096, Ginomai, it's pronounced this way.
Strong's G 1096.
Ginomai. Okay? It's a verb. Online it means to become, to come into existence. When God's chopping out that old, and then he's bringing it back to become, to come into existence, come to life, be born again, reborn, rebirth, returned, remembered. He's putting it back together again. To be remembered is to put something together, and to means to do it again. So he's redoing it. He's putting you back into your true identity that he chose before the foundation of the conception of your cosmos thinking. See, only your ego tells you, oh, God can't do that because I can't think that way. It's beyond me, so it's beyond God. It's trying to be your God. It's not there yet. It's a bunch of bullshit. That's worthless and detestable. God is omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, knows everything, and is and omnipresent, everywhere at once. He's sovereign. He's in control of all of it. He's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Okay? Not that alpha and all crap. Okay? Now, online is to become, to come into existence, begin to be, to receive being. It's like you're holding on to God with all you got, and he's pulling you out. He's bringing you back into, he's pulling you out of that crap thinking. He's cutting out that fleshly thinking. And then putting it on both sides, and then you exist. You're making a covenant, going back in there, and you're coming into being. It's Ginomai, okay? Ginomai, I think is the way they pronounce it. We used to say Ginomai, but in the blue letter it's saying Ginomai, okay? And the Strong's is saying to cause to be, to generate, come into being. Okay, it's almost funny looking at, like I looked before. My former pastor Dave Fields, he showed me on this we had a program, and he showed me where it listed all the different things in the English concordance. It's something like, I forget how many different ways. It's like 270 some, I think. Ways. It's over 250 different ways. And then some of them things is like, how in the world do you get that? Okay, I'm going to have to take a cutter short. I want to go on down, so I'll be on brass next, okay, in this same verse. That's all right. We'll do as many recordings as needed. That's what I said, wasn't it? It's all right. And it's not exhaustive, but I'm covering it better. Okay, thank you. This has been, let's see, examination table number 2, spiritual toolbox number 21, audio recording number 337, the love chapter number 2. Have a wonderful day, and thank God inside. Recognize God's a hero. He's not a monster. Amen. I agree. So be it. Yes, sir. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Be in hot pursuit of God. Thank you. Bye-bye.